Peace, world, and welcome everybody to a special conversation for the Sportster. My name is Adam Bernard. Thank you so much for joining me again today. My guest stars in the Paramount Plus television show Tulsa King alongside Sylvester Stallone, Martin Starr, and Robert Patrick, now in its third season. Mike Cashflow Walden, sir, thank you for your time. It's a pleasure.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here and talk to you, Adam. I mean, anytime I get to talk about Tulsa King is an amazing time, brother.
Listen, I have thoroughly enjoyed everything I've seen so far for season three, so I want to dive right into it here. And also, congratulations on the promotion to series regular. How has
Mm.
that changed your approach to the character of Bigfoot?
Uh, it's given me more of a more of a comfortability. I mean, I was already comfortable. The crew and my co-stars and all those guys. They've made me really comfortable anyway. But it's also it's given me even more of a comfortability. Knowing that I'm a big part of this crew, and it lets me dive right in, man.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, I know also, too, I want to talk a little bit because it's going to tie into the rest of this conversation here. I know your work with OVW as a professional wrestler. Shout out to Al Snow.
Absolutely.
How has your wrestling, also peace to the Blue Meanie as well, how has your experience shaped your perspective and your approach to Bigfoot?
A lot of well, I mean, from a technical side, I already have a lot of TV and a lot of camera work.
Mhm.
A lot of timing, a lot of placement. How has it shaped the character? It's all character work. It's all method. Um, you just in being a wrestler, you come out, you got
Right.
one take. Okay. You come out, you have to be in the moment you're supposed to be in,
Yeah.
so that's helped me be comfortable, when the stories are read, just being in the moment and being who I'm supposed to be and being where I'm supposed to be. So, it really boils down to comfortability, Adam.
It's all just like wrestling. Acting is all about timing, sir. And let me tell you
Absolutely.
something, you nail it every
Absolutely.
time if that helps. So, Bigfoot appears to have this really trusted place inside of Dwight Manfredi's circle as his trusted enforcer. Now, this season's new villain, Jeremiah Dunmire, is played by the incredible Robert Patrick. Seems to be out for blood. How much more do we see Dwight lean into Bigfoot for protection and maybe trust as the season progresses?
Well, I mean, it just as you've seen, where Dwight goes, Bigfoot's gonna go.
Mhm.
And whether I'm not trying to give anything away, but whether Dwight Manfredi calls the shots. He is the boss, and if he needs Bigfoot to do this, Bigfoot is going to do this. If he needs Bigfoot to come with him and do this, he's going to do this. How much is he going to lean on him? Well, I think he's going to lean on him just like he's always leaned on him. You may or may not see a little more of go get him Bigfoot type of deal. So
Right.
he as his trusted enforcer, he expects Bigfoot to be there when he needs him, whatever he needs him to do. You do remember he said he said things can get pretty dark. Are you willing to go there? And I
Yeah.
told him, I said, whatever it takes to feed this family. And that's exactly what Bigfoot's going to do.
Now, I know in other interviews you've mentioned that Sylvester Stallone wanted to bring you on the show. I believe he said after binge watching wrestlers on Netflix, and it seems like
Yeah.
you two had cultivated a really solid connection since that point. How has that relationship evolved or maybe strengthened since you've been promoted to series regular?
Um, well, first of all, Sylvester Stallone is a magnificent. He's magnificent, you know,
Right.
and as a mentor, he's really generous with his time.
Mhm.
As somebody that you can lean on, for questions, because let's face it, 40, 50 years in this industry, he's
Absolutely.
probably forgotten more than what most people know. So, being able just to be able to pick his brain, and like I said, he's very generous with that time to be able to do that. So
Absolutely.
having somebody like that on your side, you're on. I consider myself on top of the world when it comes to that.
What I like so much about the show, outside of the plot line and everything else that's really visually impressive about the show, is this ensemble cast feeling, right? It's sort of this ragtag group of collaborators that Dwight Manfredi has made his new family. What's it been like to work with them and have this comedic edge to such a dark and heavy show sometimes?
Uh, it's amazing, just seeing it all come together, on screen and off screen. It may not be your typical, mob family, but let's face it, we've become a family nonetheless, and we're going to protect each other regardless of what happens. And seeing it come together from season one, to where we're at now, it's it's been a treat, and it's been how do you put it? It's eclectic.
Yeah.
Okay, it's eclectic. Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's amazing seeing it all come together, and everybody has their own little, their own little shtick, their own little quirks, their own little stories that are being told as we move along, and I think that's what makes the show great.
Now, I'm a big Martin Starr fan. I know I mentioned it at the top of my introduction as well. Been a fan of
As
his.
am I.
It's hard not to be, right?
Absolutely,
Since the
absolutely.
Freaks and Geeks days. Any fun stories about working with him? What's it like to be collaborating with him? And I've noticed this more. I love when the comedic actors are able to take what they do and turn it into a serious role. What's it like being watch him go from sort of this dry, sardonic character to, as we saw in this season so far, a no nonsense kind of guy?
Well, I think there's some, I think the contrast with Martin is amazing.
Mhm.
As far as fun stories, off camera, he's similar to what he portrays on camera. I got the opportunity to go play pickleball with Martin Starr. He's a very much a pickleball enthusiast, and of course, he beat the snot out of me, but that kind of made me want to beat the snot out of him.
I
But
was going to say, maybe we could see him in an OVW ring. You can take him to your court this time instead, and put the
Martin
boots
and I
on.
have talked about that a little bit, but I'm not so sure that he's ready for that.
Now, as a wrestling fan, and again, I want to thank you so much for your time. I know that you've made your return to
Absolutely.
OVW this summer. What's the best piece of advice someone gave you when you were just starting out in the wrestling ring, and have you applied that to your acting craft as well as in wrestling?
Um, it's all about in wrestling. It's all about your comfort zone. I think some guys get lost in the mix,
Hmm.
and they tend to gravitate towards their comfort zone. And in professional wrestling, if you truly to truly understand professional wrestling, you have to understand everything that it encompasses. Professional wrestling is not just what you do in the ring. Okay, it's why you do it in the ring, and it's also what you do outside of the ring to give yourself this persona and this personality. And you know, in how it's translated into this industry is it's allowed me to kind of go in the directions of not so much my comfort zone, from professional wrestling. It's allowed me to be able, to adjust a little more. And, that's really the crux of it, having to adjust and be around these larger than life characters and try to be a larger than life character yourself. And it's actually helped. And I would tell, anybody, I think the film industry and this industry, I believe it is a natural evolution from professional wrestling. If you truly understand what professional wrestling is, naturally the next step, when you've been beat up so much you can't hardly do anything, naturally the next step is the film industry, because there are certain things that you have, if you truly understand what wrestling is, there are certain things that you have that will serve you well in the film industry.
Well, I want you to go out of your way to check out Tulsa King. Season 3 is happening right now. The first 3
Absolutely.
episodes are live, and new episodes drop each Sunday exclusively on Paramount Plus. So check your local listings for the drop time rather, in your area. Mike Cashflow Walden, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, sir. Fantastic job on the show, and I look forward to following the adventures of Bigfoot and Dwight through the rest of the season.
Hey, thank you for speaking with me, Adam. I appreciate it. Hey, go watch Tulsa King. You don't know what you're missing if you are.
He's right. You got to go watch it.